Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today I'm going to show you how to play Survive the Island, which is a 2 to 5 player game in which you're going to try to get the most survivors, or the most point valued survivors, to escape the sinking island. So let's go ahead down the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play Survive the Island. All right, so this is Survive the Island, which is going to be based off the game Survive Escape from Atlantis, which is an older game there. And this game here is more like a streamlining of that game with slight things. But either way, the biggest difference that you're going to find between this and the older game here is the fact that the whales are gone, and now you have these kaiju, which are functionally better than the whales. I'll show you how those guys work in a little bit, but they're pretty darn cool. So to set up, you're going to basically give everyone 10 meeples of their color and 2 of these boats, which are these like little wooden raft thingies. So I'll get 2 of those boats, and they'll get a player aid here, and the player aid is going to give them everything they need to know about how to play the game. And then you're going to set up the board. To set up the board, you're going to place out these sea serpents. These sea serpents are going to go in the little spaces that have the sea serpent symbol here. There'll be one by each island and the center of the board. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to shuffle up and place out these island tiles. Now these island tiles here, you're not going to organize them by shape or anything. You're going to randomly place them out, and you're going to try to, you have to stay within the border here. There's a thicker border right here that you're going to stay in, and that's going to be your pattern. You're going to lay these out. So you're going to randomly lay them out without looking at the bottom of the tiles, and that will be the setup of your board. The next thing you're going to do is going to figure out who's the first player. Now, that could be whoever safely returned from an island most realistically, or you can roll dice, or you can let the youngest player pick. But either way, what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at these meeples here. And these meeples have numbers between 1 and 5 on the bottom of them. And these are going to be the value of the meeple that when they escape to the island here. So you're going to strategically place these little meeples out on the board here. Now, a couple things to know before you jump into placing them out that you should tell everyone is this island will be sinking. So these tiles will be going away. The first to go away are going to be these desert tiles. The next thing is the forest, and the last is the mountains. So you're going to pick one of your meeples, and you're going to look at the number there, and you're going to place them out on the board there of wherever you think you can get them out to the island. Some of them are, not all of them, going to make it, so some of them that won't make it, you're going to probably put the lower numbers out. Now the next person's going to pick and place out a meeple, and so on and so forth. And you're going to go around the table until everyone has placed out their meeples. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now that everyone's placed out their meeples, the next thing you're going to do is you have your 2 rafts. And each player is going to pick one raft and in turn order place out their rafts. They're going to place these rafts out in places where they best feel they can get their people to the shore. So everyone's going to place out 2 rafts, and once that's done, the game can begin. Now, one important note is after you place these meeple out, you're never allowed to see what the numbers are until the end of the game of what the meeples are, even when they get eaten. So now we're going to go round after round here, and we're going to go until every meeple escapes, meaning there's no meeples left on the board to move, or the third volcano flips. Now the volcanoes are going to be underneath these mountain pieces. Once the third one is flipped, and there's 4 of those that are out there, the game will end. So what do you do on your turn? Well, what you could do on your turn is you can move up to 3 movement, and you can play any of the green tiles that you've earned, which I'll show you in a minute. There's green and red bottoms. Then you're going to remove a tile, and you're going to flip it over. If there's no player to your left, then you're going to do 2. That means that player has finished where all their meeples have left the board and they're not doing anything anymore. And then you're going to roll the creature dice. So let's go to movement first. So you have 3 points of movement. So that means you can move up to 3 different meeples or the same meeple or whatever. You have 3 points of movement. So I could do 1, 2, 3 if I wanted. or I could do 1, 2, 3, or any way that I want to break that up. Now, one thing to note though is if you jump in the water, your movement ends, and if you're in water, you can only do one movement. You can't apply any more of the movement that you have in that turn to that meeple. So water really slows you down. After you do your movement, or any time during your movement phase, you can use those green tiles. So let's see if this is a green tile. This is a red tile. Let's see if this is a green tile. This is a green tile. So there's multiple different green tiles in the game, and anytime during the movement phase you can use them. Now there's some exceptions, like this one here is a reactionary tile. So this one will prevent me from getting eaten by a shark or the kaiju one time. But there's all sorts of different ones here. So here's the red ones explained, and here's the green ones explained. Like here, you can move your raft up to 1 to 2 spaces. That doesn't count as your action for the turn. Same with this, doesn't count as your action for turn, but you can move a swimmer up to 1 to 2 spaces. Here, you can move a creature onto any empty space in the water area. That's really, really useful. Here, you can roll the creature die again, or basically before you roll it during the movement phase before you roll it at the end of your turn. And then that one, like I said, this one eliminates a green or blue creature that is attacking you, which is really cool. These red ones, like this one I showed you right here, will place something in that tile. Like this one will place the kaiju, the blue creature. This will place the green shark. This one here places a raft. This one removes everything adjacent, including the space in it. It's a whirlpool. And this is the volcano one here. That'll trigger that, and then anything in that space is destroyed. So that's what the red and the green are in this game. But what you're going to do is, that's what I could do for the movement. I can move and play green tiles if I wanted to. Then I remove a tile. So you're going to look at the color that you aren't, and you're going to want to, well, normally, and you're going to want to maybe toss some people in the water. So I'll take this one, flip it over. If it's green, I keep it to myself. I don't let other people see it. If it's red, I have to immediately show it, and that occurs. So this one here is a green tile, so I keep it to myself. The last thing you're going to do on your turn is you're going to roll this die. And this die is going to do a couple different things. It's either going to move the sea serpent, the shark, or the kaiju. That's the only options you have on it. When you roll it, you're going to move that monster. Now, there's no kaiju out, so nothing happens right now. But if there was, that can move 1 to 2 spaces. Now, how these monsters work. Let's start with Sea Serpent. Sea Serpent will move 1 space. You can pick any direction and move it 1 space as long as it's still on the board. And if it hits a raft, it destroys it and all the meeples in it. If it runs over a meeple swimming, it'll eliminate that too. So you could destroy rafts with entire groups of meeples on it, and with that monster. This shark here moves up to 1 to 2 spaces. And these will get placed out with those tiles later on. And the shark here will just eat the swimmers. That's all it does, the meeples in the water. This kaiju here is interesting. This one replaced the whale in the base game, but basically what this one does is it destroys boats, but it also pushes stuff. So the kaiju here can actually go on land. And when you go on land and you're an active player, you could pick which direction the meeples that were on that space get pushed to. So that one's a really cool little guy to do. Now, a couple things. That's your turn. We're going to keep on going, like I said, round and around until either 3 volcanoes appear or everyone gets their meeples off the island. Now, a little nuancy thing about the boats here. Now, these boats here, if you control them, or you're tied, so if there's yellow and blue on here, both the yellow and blue can move this boat. You can use those for your actions. If you have 3 actions on your turn here, you can move this all 3 actions if you want. You could also, like, for example, here, let's say I'm right here, and I'm the blue player, I could do 1, 2, and get my guy onto the shore. Now that my guy's off, I can no longer move this boat, only the yellow player can. So that's how that works. Or if we had a situation like this, and I had 2 blue and a yellow, the blue player is the only player that can move that boat. Now at any time, any player can move an empty boat. So if there's no boat on there, no meeples on that boat, they can also move it. So that's basically how boats work. I wanted to go back into that. So to recap, Game's super easy to teach. This is basically all they need to know here. And if they have questions on the tile, they can keep it to themselves because they have them on the back here for the greens, which I really appreciate. So on your turn, again, you have 3 points of movement. You can move any meeples you want or the same meeple multiple times, with the exception if you're in the water, that meeple can only move once in that turn. You could play any of your green tiles that you want. So I could have played this when I'm in my movement phase and roll this die and move the monsters. Then I will remove a tile from the board. You go desert, forest, mountain. So all the deserts have to be gone before you can remove the forest, and all the forests have to be gone before you can remove mountains. Then you will roll the creature die and move the monster, if applicable. So that's how you take your turns. That's the game. You're trying to get your meeples to these islands here to save them. And at the end of the game, once it's all said and done, you're going to add up the points underneath your meeples, and the person with the most points is going to win the game. All right, so that was Survive the Island, How to Play. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. It will get us new equipment. It lets us bring out more content and all that good stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.